If a water heater fails, it is an immediate emergency for many commercial buildings, restaurants, hospitals, apartments, health clubs, and yes, airports. Well, airports is where I saw it. And at the Miami airport, that's when I actually saw this in action. Yes, I was in Miami for a business meeting. And when I went to the airport to fly out, I saw a Ferguson truck making a drop-off, kind of like my Uber driver was doing. Now, before I go any further, remember, this video is sponsored by Ferguson, and today I'm going to get to tell you about a service that they offer. Not just products, but a service. So if you want to learn more about this, go to Ferguson.com and check it out. I knew that Ferguson had this service. It's something that I hadn't used because we didn't do commercial, but I remember a long time ago. I used to be a hairstylist and I worked in a hair salon. I actually had a salon inside of a health club. Now, the health club owner knew this, and when his water heater went out, he reached out to me and said, Roger, look, can you change this out? Now, the idea of changing a commercial water heater out and making that kind of money sounded really kind of good. But I got in there and got to looking at it, and where the water heater was located, you couldn't just go in there, pick it up, roll it out, and roll a new one in. It was actually behind other pipe and stuff like that. So I had to say no. I didn't have enough people. It was literally just me, the hairstylist who was gonna install the water heater. Now, I know now that Ferguson offers this service. How many times during the course of a year or a month do we have to look at a project and say, look, I just don't have the manpower to do this? Now, fortunately, the professionals at Ferguson are ready to spring into action at any time, day or night, to take care of your water heater replacement. Well, this is gonna change everything for you. If commercial water heaters are something you want to get into, this is a way to do it. If you have ever thought about doing commercial work, adding it to your list of services, or you already do, but you don't want to get your men tied up in the middle of the night just to help move equipment around, you can literally have it scheduled, go in, shut everything down, cut it loose, have them remove it, have them bring in the new one, install it in position, and all you've got to do is hook it back up. Now, I wish I had known this before because we didn't do a lot of commercial service work because of the headache, the big water heaters, not having enough men to get them in and out and things like that. But this is something that Ferguson has completely changed. I remember how I was introduced to Ferguson. Being a superintendent for Beard Mechanical, one of the largest mechanical contractors in Dallas, we had a job out at DFW Airport. Now, DFW Airport, if you don't know it, it's this huge airport, and they were remodeling the entire A terminal. Now, what they had done, they had eliminated the tram under the building, and we were installing some 20-inch, I believe in 14-inch carbon steel pipe going from one end of the terminal all the way to the other to put in new heating water and chill water systems. So what we had done is we took this big takeoff, we ordered double randoms, that way we'd have 40-foot pieces of pipe that we were gonna lay out all the way through here. That cut our welds in half. The neat thing about it is dealing with Micah Harris. Micah Harris was the rep from Ferguson that we worked with on that job. We always dealt with him. And as you see, we were able to call him and say, hey man, look, we need something. Or, hey, there's something that we want to try different. Can you get us something? Building relationships with the people that you work with at Ferguson each and every day. And I teach this to plumbers starting out. Build a relationship with the people that work at the vendor that you're wanting to use. We picked Ferguson for our residential service company because of everything that they had done with me when I worked for the larger plumbing and mechanical company. So building relationships with the people that are there are what led to everything I do with Ferguson today. So no matter what size plumbing company you are, plumbing, HVAC, piping, anything at all like that, make sure you reach out to them early, build relationships, and get to know the people you're working with each and every day. Now, I'm gonna let you hear from somebody else from the live stream I did just the other day, who was the owner of the company that I worked with at the time that I did all this big work out at the airport. Let's hear what Bert has to say. And I was fixing to say, when you've got a big company, or when you've got any size company,
right?
And we were talking about this earlier, you being able to leverage relationships and be able to go in and talk to the vendors and say, hey, here's where we're at. Here's what we want to do, yada, 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 and get their buy-in.
Right.
Vendors are partners.
Absolutely. 100%. 100%. And, you know, they're going to be a part of the critical success of any project. And I'll give you a prime example. I can remember during Christmas shutdown that we needed, and I was working the shutdown as an apprentice, and we needed a valve. And it was 2:00 in the morning, and the shutdown was at Texas Instruments. And
that's not a good time to need a valve.
That's not a good, have that aha moment.
7-Eleven doesn't have them on the shelf,
can't go to Home Depot. Cannot go to Home Depot.
Yeah.
But we leaned into that business relationship, made the phone call. They opened it up. They had one, went and picked it up. And I will tell you, not only was that strategic partnership incredibly important, but the most important person on that job site became me as the apprentice, and I didn't even know it. But I mean, to build a project of that magnitude in an area that, you know, it's north of Dallas, depending on the time of day, it's not easy to get to.
Is at least an hour.
Yeah, at least an hour. So you've really got to start thinking outside of the box in terms of partnerships and business relations and team members and cost evaluation and time management and all these things that are critical path to the success of a large scale project. And then, oh, by the way, Global Wafer decides we're going to build a new manufacturing facility, 2 exits. So think about the constraints on labor resources, right?
Yes.
And the mindset that it takes to build 2 projects of similar magnitudes in, again, an area an hour outside of Dallas. It's a challenge. So you talked about Ferguson. There are other strategic partners that you have to make those projects successful, and the mindset and the skill set of the individuals that are going to be on those projects, working in a clean environment and having to have the proper training and having the foresight and the bandwidth to work 10, 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. You know, it's different than changing out a lavatory at your house.
At Fred's house or somebody's,
yeah, that's right.
you know, yeah, big
different
difference.
mindset.
Now, how big is that? This is one of the reasons I say it all the time. This video is sponsored by Ferguson, and we teamed up with them because of what they do for plumbers, plumbing companies, and the communities that we're in. Guys, Ferguson helps us keep doing what we do each and every day. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you got something out of it that tells you or shows you how you can make more money at your company. Thanks again, Ferguson. I appreciate everything you do. If you like this video, you're definitely going to like this one.